Hello, welcome back to my channel. I don't know why you're so far up. Hey, that's better. Today's video is going to be different than anything I've done before, but this is something I've been thinking about doing for a bit, and also I would really like the input. As the title of this video suggests, I am asking for help. I need all of the handy human beings that are on this internet who have lived experience to watch this video and help me figure out stuff in my house. There is a lot of things that I would like to fix, and being a first-time homeowner, I don't necessarily know for sure how to do it. YouTube is a great resource. Don't get me wrong. Dan and I have used YouTube multiple times. We have replaced our water heater by ourselves. We've switched out a washing machine by ourselves. We replaced our dishwasher by ourselves. We paid somebody to replace a toilet, and then $600 later discovered how easy it is to do ourselves and never let that mistake happen again. But there are a lot of things that we don't feel qualified to tackle necessarily, and they're things that are probably fairly easy to do with just the right know-how, but because we don't have that know-how, it just seems a lot more daunting than it is. So I am going to take you with me around my house and just show you everything that I have been wanting to fix, but I'm not quite sure how to do it. And my hope is that I get a lot of feedback on this video, and I can have follow-up videos of myself and Dan actually tackling these projects and fixing these things. Or we'll know we really need a professional to do it, and then we will budget to hire a professional. Let's go ahead and get walking through this house. So one of the big things I would like to tackle is lighting. This house does not get hardly any natural or direct sunlight into it. Our house is shaped, it's very narrow but very long, and its length runs east and west. So really the only window we get any natural sunlight into is my craft room window, which faces west. And all of our other windows that we have are north-south facing, so really no direct sunlight comes in. And as a result, our house is pretty dark. One of the things that I would like to replace are these lights. I know you can do it yourself. I know it's not that difficult if you just know what you're doing. Obviously, you shut the breaker off. First step. That I've got down. We've had to shut the breaker off for lots of things, so we're experts in shutting those off and turning them back on. But just the idea of changing a light fixture is very daunting to me. So if you could sort of help walk me through some basics of how easy it actually is. And also, if you have suggestions, if you are a designer, by all means, please help give suggestions, because a lot of these things are aesthetic, so that I would like to change or fix. So this is our kitchen. It's very small. Also, we literally just finished dinner, so ignore the mess. We had Reubens. They were delicious. But this is the only light in our kitchen, other than there is a light above the window there for like if we're doing dishes, and then we have the light over the stove. So when we turn the light on, I mean, it's decent brightness, like it's good, but if we're over here cooking, look at that shadow. Like, also, yeah, again, ignore the mess. There's just, you stand in front of the counter, and because the light is behind me, no matter which direction you're standing, you're casting a shadow. So I would like to, even if we don't end up changing this light, something I would like to do is add lighting, maybe under the cabinets. Like, there's real estate for it for sure. But I wasn't sure if it would be something as easy as just like an LED strip that we just run through, and we have plugins everywhere in here, so we could do that pretty easily. Let me know if it really is that simple, or if there's like an idea that I haven't thought of that would be way better, because that's kind of what I'm thinking, is just running LED strips under those, and that would help with that lighting. And then the light itself, just, it would be aesthetically, it would look a lot nicer if it was something different. So, yeah, help. This is our front door. It like pushes weird, so the lock, you have to, in order to lock and unlock this deadbolt, you have to like bang your body weight against the door in order to like push it in enough to easily lock and unlock this deadbolt. How do you fix that? Do we need to move like the thing in the wall? Let me just show you, because I don't know words. Do we need to replace and move this over and like drill it out more that way? Or is it something with the hinges on the door? Like, do the hinges need to be moved? You can see, like, they had to replace this door right before we bought the house because one of the realtors or, like, the selling agent or something broke the key in the lock. And so they had to replace, well, they replaced the locks. They didn't replace the doors. So I don't know why these massive grooves are in there for all of those. Maybe it got replaced at some point in the past. Who knows? But how do I fix not having to throw my entire body into locking this door and unlocking it every time I need to? This is another door in our house that we actually don't use at all because the deadbolt is like broken. So it's currently like the deadbolt is activated, but if you go to unlock it, the deadbolt doesn't like fully go back. It's loose. There's something going on with this deadbolt. It is not working properly. Is that as easy as just tightening it? I've not actually looked into it. It might be as easy as just tightening screws. I probably should check that before I post my ignorance on the internet, but here we are. It's too late now. Is that something that once the deadbolt, like once that gets loosened, it's no good and we need to replace it? I mean, it's deadbolted now, so I'm not worried about somebody using this door to break in because it is deadbolted. It's just anytime we have somebody come to this door, we have to tell them to go around to a different door to get in because we physically cannot let them in this way. That might be a bit of a fire hazard, but there is also another exit literally right there, so it's not that big of a deal. But still, you know, maybe we won't fix it sometime. Also, this is 2-in-1. Here is this other tiny little light we want to replace because we're in our laundry room right now. There's the water heater we replaced. And there's the washing machine we replaced, and there's diaper laundry. Dan and I are planning on actually redoing this whole area right here, and we're going to put in a great big counter. We have a really nice chunk of wood we're going to use, and then put like storage and stuff underneath of it and just move all this, and it's going to look so much nicer. And I'm going to have a whole place to fold laundry, and it's going to be beautiful, and I'm just very excited about it. We just need time. But something else that has been bothering me that we really need to address sooner rather than later, especially in here, is the ceiling. Why does it look like it's about to fall down? Directly above this room is our bedroom, but like there's nothing in this spot. And all of these tiles look like they quite literally could fall on our heads at any moment. And I have been terrified to touch it or to try to take one off and see what's going on because I don't want to ruin our ceiling and then have a hole in our ceiling. So what's happening? This house was built quite a while ago. These kind of ceilings are basically everywhere. I don't know what they're called. I think my mom had mentioned something about they're on tracks. I don't know what that means. I don't know how ceilings work. I'm familiar with popcorn ceilings or just drywall ceilings. This I am unfamiliar with. So I would appreciate advice and even just knowledge. Even if you don't necessarily know how to fix this, just inform me. What is this ceiling called? How is it installed? What might be caused? Because I think what's happening is just whatever was used to keep them up is failing. And it needs to be fixed, but I don't know how. Also, what is this thing? This thing is just in my house. What is it? Why do I have rodents? You can see it in our kitchen as well. Like, look, those are like, that's just a straight up V roll right there. Like, what is going on? Why is that like that? And actually, I'll show you in my craft room over here. My entire, like, it looks like my ceiling is mimicking the ocean waves. Do you see that warping? It's like goes up and then way down right there. And like, there's like legitimate beach waves happening on my ceiling. And I know that's not supposed to happen. And then one random room is popcorn ceiling. Sure. We would love to rip up this carpet. The entire rest of our like dining room, craft room area is this vinyl. And I would love to be able to just basically extend that into the living room as well and just have like a nice big area rug. But we have this carpet currently. Is replacing carpet or tearing carpet up really as easy as just tearing it up? What if the floor underneath it sucks? Are you just stuck with that for a while? I mean, I guess that wouldn't be terrible, but also I wouldn't want to leave it like that for long, so we would need a game plan. But yeah, I feel like tearing the carpet up is as easy as ripping it up. Ripping up whatever subflooring, is that the term? I don't know what is it, whatever the foam stuff under the carpet is, and then pulling out staples, I think. I don't know. And then how do you lay vinyl? I guess it depends on what kind of vinyl. Yeah, that can be a question for another day. We have this huge, beautiful gas fireplace in our living room, which I will get back to in a second because I have some beef with this thing. But on either side of it, whoever put all of the paneling in decided they were going to just leave. They weren't even going to attempt to cut next to all of this stonework. They were just like, nope, we're gonna get close enough. As you can see, I did a while back a really makeshift, it's just not even good, it's just somewhat acceptable. I just took a piece of wood and nailed it right there because the cats were starting to pull at the insulation that is very obviously just sticking out. So what is the best way to go about fixing that? I mean, I feel like it would be really complicated to cut a piece that would fit that well, but I also don't know if there's any hacks. I'll put on the screen here, I've seen this tool that's supposed to, like, it moves, and so you can push it up against these really weird shaped edges, and it'll adjust to all of that so that you can then trace it on that edge and cut it to be like an exact match. Is that a legitimate tool to get? Should we invest in that? I feel like that would work really well here, but I don't know for sure. Is there a different hack or trick of the trade that you can bestow your knowledge upon me with? That's what I would very much like to cover up all of that insulation because that looks bad. Luckily, people don't stare at the back corners of our fireplace very often because it's on the other side too. Hi, vermin. Who's a good vermin? Oh. Lighting in this room. Let's back up. This room has 0 installed lights. The only light we get in this room is that lamp and these little lights that we put here on this bar ourselves. That also doesn't look great, but it's fine. How do we install lighting? I understand if we want to like legitimately install a lighting fixture, like a permanent lighting fixture, we should get an electrician. I get that. But is there an easy way? Because I've seen plenty of really nice looking lights that just plug into the wall and you just have a cord and like a hook. And so it plugs into the wall and the cord goes up the side of the wall and then like it hooks up onto the ceiling and then just kind of like loops its way over to wherever the light is hanging from. But then how do I know where to drill into the ceiling? Because I can't just patch these very easily. It's these weird squares again. I can't just easily patch them. With that kind of ceiling, how do you know where you can drill a hole? There's studs, obviously, but Do you just use a stud finder like you would on a wall? Do you need to just intuitively know where the studs are? Do you just drill a bunch of holes and then hope you can patch them well enough? I feel like that's the wrong answer. Drilling holes into ceilings is very intimidating to me. So please help. And now, this guy. This fireplace is gorgeous. I love the stonework. I love the size. It's beautiful. But I am angry at it because we can't use it. When we bought this house, when we first came to look at this house, we saw this fireplace and we're like, that's beautiful. It's a gas fireplace, and we would prefer having a natural wood-burning fireplace, but we're like, you know what? That's fine. This is beautiful. And this wasn't a selling feature of the house, but it was definitely a perk. And so we put an offer on the house, and they accepted it, and then, the inspector comes and looks at everything, and we were here when the inspector was here, and he tells us, okay, this is all the stuff that I found. And he starts going through things, and he goes, this fireplace, you can't use that. And we're like, why? Is like the gas not hooked up or something? He goes, no, you will catch your house on fire. What? Apparently, this house used to have a full chimney going out and up on the side of the house and everything, and this was a perfectly acceptable fireplace to use. And then they did some remodeling, they added a second level, and they got rid of the chimney on the outside. And they didn't totally close off access to this fireplace, but what they did was basically as bad. We're gonna go on a field trip. Let me show you. Jeez, they're everywhere. You see that broken dryer vent? Plastic little dryer vent sticking out of the side of our house? That's the chimney. Took off the original... Oh. Now the vermin are making noise. Also, I did not realize I was zoomed. Oops. They took off the original stone fireplace chimney on the outside, sided the whole thing, and instead put a little plastic chute capping off with a dryer vent on the outside of the house. So if we turned this on, it would work, but that dryer vent would almost definitely melt and start a fire. And when we told the previous owners, who had lived here since they were children, the wife had grown up in this house, bought the house from her parents, and her husband lived here until just a couple years ago. Like, this is a multi-generational house. They were surprised by it. They didn't realize it couldn't be used because they had never used it, which, fair. I mean, I guess if you just never use it, then you're not going to know you can't use it. But how did that pass inspection? Like, when they did that, how did that pass? So my question is, if you know anything about fireplaces and what would need to be done to fix that so we could use it as a gas fireplace that it is now. Oh, actually, also, I think the inspector had said that we also would need access to the gas line under the house. So if we wanted to use it, we would actually have to drill a hole in the floor to be able to have some sort of quick access to the gas main, the gas line. It'd be pretty complicated, I think. That aside, purely focusing on the chimney aspect, what would need to be done? I think it would be something as simple as just replacing those chimney bits with metal or something that isn't going to melt. But another question would be, if Dan and I wanted to convert this fireplace to a wood-burning fireplace, is that possible? I don't know. And two, what all would go into that? Is that feasible? Is that something that this style of fireplace that just would not be a good idea? I mean, ideally, Dan and I would like to have a wood-burning fireplace. That would be, the goal. But it might just be that this thing is decoration only until we leave because we can't afford to do anything with it. You're in my bathroom now. Hello. These right here are our storage in our bathroom. Our bathroom actually has amazing storage. This thing is huge. This thing is like the entire depth of my arm deep. Like there's a lot going on here, and it's floor to ceiling, all storage. And it just goes, it's 1, 2, 3, 4 shelves on that one. And then this one is just 2 much larger shelves. I need storage experts' advice on this one. What could we make or buy to make storage easier in there? Because right now, everything gets shoved in and things in the back are lost forever. Things on the top shelf in the back, we're never seeing them again. What can we do to make this usable all the way through? All suggestions, leave them in the comments because I don't know. And last, but certainly not least, you are joining me in our bedroom because once again, when we bought this house, we did not think about certain things like moving staged furniture to check under it. And apparently the inspector also did not do that. So to our surprise, when we were moving in and getting everything situated in our bedroom, we saw this shoe rack here that was left here by the previous owners, and it fits right here pretty decently. But the way we rearranged our room, our bed is right here, and that doesn't leave that much foot space. So we thought, oh, let's move this out of the way, and then that'll give us an extra like 1.5 feet to walk. So we go to move it, and this is what's staring at us underneath of it. The floor is missing. So it ends. The flooring just ends right there. And it looks like it was perfectly cut practically. And there's this board that is nailed in. And at first we thought, oh, maybe we can just walk on it and it's fine. But that dips a little bit when you put weight on it. And I don't trust it. So this is my last question to anybody who might have any suggestions. Why? How would we go about checking to see what is going on? Like, do we need to pull this board up and see what's going on underneath? And if we do pull this board up, how do we know what we're looking at or what we're looking for? Somebody had mentioned to us once that we might need to pull that board up, see what's going on, try to find like the main beams and do something to like secure that board to those beams so that it's like sturdy to walk on, and then we can put some sort of flooring over the top of it. But I don't know why that's like that. I will say this exact spot right here is directly above this part of our stairs that like V's down. So I'm whispering because my son is asleep and his room is right there. So our stairs go up and then pie over. And right here, there is this little, well, if I can show you there, right there, there is this little section that angles up. That is directly below where that hole is in that floor. I don't know if there's any connection or not, but we do know that that is directly above that. Is any helpful advice you can give of what possible next steps would need to be done and what might be good solution options if it's X, Y, or Z, that would be very helpful. That is about all I should fit in this video because that's a lot of questions. And if anybody is willing to answer multiple, every single comment on this video is going to be like a mile long, just explaining why I need to just call a professional. So let's end this video. If you have made it to the end of this video, thank you for being willing to sit through my absolute rambling of what felt like one giant run-on sentence of a question. It's so intimidating looking at buying your first house and wanting to be able to be handy and kind of a jack of all trades, masters of none. But then when you actually see these things and think, I don't want to mess this up. Like, what if I pull part of that ceiling down to see what's going on? And that's like a major mistake that's now going to cost us thousands of dollars to fix, type of thing. So that's why I think there's a lot of things in this house that Dan and I have not done yet, because we're just intimidated by the unknown. And I would greatly appreciate every single one of you that are willing to drop a comment and let us know any suggestions that you have, any thoughts, any helpful tips or tricks you can offer. There's a lot more things that we want to do, but that was just the ones that I could think of right now. And I really hope I do get some good feedback in this video so I can actually tackle some of these and bring you guys along to see how we are learning and growing and becoming jacks of all trades. That is the end of this video. Thank you again so much for coming and hanging out with me. And I understand I just asked the internet for its opinion, and I'm not sure I'm fully prepared to get it, but I asked. Why are you two so noisy? Is it because I was calling you vermin the whole video? Are you a vermin? Yeah, I say, no, I'm not. I'm a cat. I'm a cat too. I am not a vermin. Well, okay then.